Am I audible?
Hello, yeah, you're audible.
I'm just waiting for her to join. Has some network issue. She will reach me.
Not a problem, not a problem. Am I audible? Kamna, am I audible?
Hello.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay, great.
Hello and good evening. I'm Kanchan Pandey with my ए छोटी यार
I
हल्ला
will,
मत करो सब इधर
I will start. Just continue. You can put your on mic on mute. I will start.
let's start it
So
now. Am I audible to
you can
you?
put your now. You are audible.
Yeah. Okay. Hello and good evening. I'm Kanchan Pandey with my co-host Kamna. We are your host for today. We welcome you to the 12th episode to talk without concentrate, an initiative of Project Vedna. Before starting, let us brief about the organization and the project.
So the organization is Sarkari School. It serves as a platform where the untold story of teachers, students, and other well-wishers of government schools are celebrated. Especially in the backward regions of India, schooling is still a rare gem for many children. There is no lack of people who are ready to make schooling possible for such aim, but no one outside ever knows. Sarkari School also takes up the mission to educate children. We have the project under our organization, which is Project Vedana.
Kanchan, you're on mute.
Oh, I'm sorry. About Project Vedna. Project Vedna aims toward creating awareness campaign to reduce school absentees dropout in girls during their menstruational cycle in rural area through active involvement of youth and creating conversation around normalizing the taboos and stereotypes around periods. So far, Project Vedna has led a large-scale initiative on reducing the absenteeism of girls children due to menstruation by conducting workshops in government school and engaging with young girls and driven peoples across different states. Project Vedna has prioritized restoring the dignity of these girls children through campaign like Gift a Pad.
So we have today's event is about Talk Without Constraint. It's a series where guest speaker will be sharing their first period experience and will also engage in a conversation around menstruation. So let's start and break the barriers and normalize the conversation around menstruation. So we have our today's guest speaker, Abhiniti Gupta. She is a third year undergraduate student pursuing economics honor from Shri College of Commerce, University of Delhi. She aims to pursue her career in the field of public policy and research. She is full of energy and music lover. So now we welcome you as our host for the today's session. Uh, we could start with the questions. So
Yeah, while starting the question, it's important to introduce about the event. A Talk Without Constraint, a series wherein guest speaker will be sharing her first period experience and also will engage in a conversations around menstruation. Let's break the barrier and normalize the conversation around menstruation. So, I request the Kamna to let's begin with the question. Kamna, are you there? Kamna, am I audible to you?
yeah, you are right.
Yeah, yeah. So you just begin with the question.
Okay, so here's the first question, which I would love to ask my host for today. Were you aware about periods before you had them for the first time? So, if yes, then who taught you about it?
Yeah, so hi guys, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, you are audible.
Great. So basically, yeah, I was aware about I was aware about what menstruation is. I think this was something that I had a conversation with my mother, and then we also got to know about it from school. We had a separate workshop just for girls, wherein we were taught about menstruation and what exactly is a sanitary napkin. Though it was, I personally like, after a lot of, after learning about a lot and then, understanding what the society is, I personally feel that we should be taught about menstruation together, like in a proper classroom and not just separately for it, and it should not be separately for girls. So it should be taught to boys as well, so that in case of an emergency, for example, somebody starts to menstruate in the public or needs a sanitary napkin, the boys are able to help and are not making fun of the fact as it is a natural thing.
All right. So how was your first experience?
Yeah, so it was very funny. So I knew about what menstruation is, and I was just chilling at home watching TV, and suddenly I felt a cramp, and then I got my period. But my mom was not at home, so despite knowing that, I panicked, thinking, "Ki, what is happening?" But then, like, I gave a call to my mother, and then she was like, "What happened?" I said that, blood is coming out of my private part. So what should I do? So she said, "Oh, it's nothing. You're just menstruating. I have a sanitary napkin in my washroom, so just start using that." So I knew how to use it, thankfully, due to the workshop. So yeah, it helped me out. It was not that traumatic, like it does for many people, but yeah, it was still thoda sa shaky because it is something that you know about it, but you don't realize, you only realize it when it happens. So yeah.
Like in our country, it's a very stigmatized topic. People usually don't talk about it, and there are a lot of myths attached to it. So, is there any myths which is followed at your home regarding menstruation?
Yeah, so I mean, the generation of my parents is pretty open about it. Like, they know that it is not something to be, be shameful about, or it is not a stigma. But the generation above them, that is my grandparents, they still, they have those rituals, and they have those beliefs ki you should not go to the you should not go to the kitchen while you're down, or you should just wash your hair on the first or the third day. So that is what I follow at home, because I have my grandmother at home, so we need to wash our hair on the first and the third day when you're menstruating, and it's not just for me, it's for mom, it's for my mom as well, as well as for my younger sister. So yeah, I mean, it is not something that, it is not like, a lot of times I do question it कि क्यों नहीं जाना चाहिए kitchen में, and why should not we not, like, I have, like, she has also told me कि you should not go to temples, but she's like कि on the first and the second day you should not go to temples. So I ask her why. So she's like बस है जो है. This is something that we believe. So जब तक मैं हूँ you should believe it. So I'm like okay. So yeah.
Right. Was your school and college like infrastructure mensuration friendly?
So, my school initially did not have any, facilities, but in the past, like when I was in my 10th, they did install sanitary napkin incinerators, and they had a, medical room wherein you can go when you're sick. Sick room is, what people call. So they had sanitary napkins, but the condition was that when you're using a sanitary napkin, you have to replace it with a new one, because they have, a limited one. So when you use it, you replace it with a new one for them. So I think, yeah, they did have it, and my college does have proper sanitary, napkin disposal centers in all the girls' washroom. So I'm very happy about that. And even though it's, they charge 1 rupees for it, but I think it's more than enough. And we're very happy that we have sanitary disposal systems as well in college. So it makes it a lot easier for us girls in college.
And we know that there are 0% tax on sanitary napkins. Government excluded all the taxes which is to put on. So, what are your views on those tax applications, like, and how it should work?
I feel that the government has done a very good thing in this particular matter, because sanitary napkins is something that people use on a regular basis. Probably not regular, but we can say that on a regular monthly basis. So spending that much money and then getting charged really is a bit, costly, for especially if we talk about the lower income groups, because sanitary napkin is something which is being used by each and every level, irrespective of whether what their income group, what their income is. Okay. And especially in the rural areas, it is very difficult for them to pay taxes. So I feel that it is a very good thing. But when we talk about tax free, it is a different thing. But I personally feel that sanitary napkins, should be free of cost in general, because this is something that is a necessity for the women, and this is something that is natural, so it should be free. But I also know that the government won't be able to implement it, since India is such a huge country, and it would be very difficult, as it would probably lead to black marketing and stuff. So I think it's great that they've made sanitary napkins tax free.
As we know that many of the girls are not feel comfortable while discussing with their family members, and also my question is, are you comfortable discussing menstruation with your family member? How sensitive and insensitive are the male member of your family when it comes to talking about periods?
So like I said, that the generation of my parents are pretty open about it, and are very, they know that it's natural. So it's very easy to talk to my parents about it. So it's a very, like, this is something that I'm very happy about, was that I was menstruating one time and we did not have sanitary napkins, and my mom was not picking up a call because she had, so basically she's a professor. So she had a class. So she messaged me that I'm not free right now. Call dad if it's an emergency. I was like, okay. So initially it was a bit, weird, but then I gave a call to my dad and he was like, yeah, what happened? I was like, Papa, I'm down. So he's like, what do you want me to do? He said, so basically he said that I said that I need sanitary napkins. So I think he got the sanitary napkins without, like, so the chemists give it in a black polythene, right? He just marched past the people with the sanitary napkin in hand, and he just caught them from me and he was like, polythene nahi mila, it's okay. I was like, Papa, polythene? He's like, polythene nahi mila, it's okay. I was like, chalo theek hai, de do. So I think that is the best part about my family, that they are pretty open about it. And since like I have a younger sister as well, so we try, learning from what they've experienced with me. And I think the same is try, like we try to do something better, like my parents try to do better with my sister. So like we gave all the knowledge about menstruation to her pehle hi. So I think it's very, it's very helpful when you have supporting parents in matters like these. So yeah, I think I can talk to my like any time of the month when I'm menstruating. I'm like, I have a stomach ache. Okay. So my mom is like, "ठीक है." So if my dad is like, if I have like an extreme stomach ache, I go to my dad and I'm like, Papa, stomach ache. He's like, do you want anything? I remember one month I was menstruating and he got me chocolates. And I didn't even tell him that I was menstruating. So I think that's the best part.
It's something very great to learn because they are making households where it's not even necessary. And the
Sorry.
male, am I not audible?
Yeah, you're a bit your voice is a bit slow.
Am I audible? Okay, so I was asking, like, there are many girls in the rural areas, even in urban areas, who got dropout. And one of the reason of the dropout of school is reaching the age of puberty and getting menstruation. So according to you, what are the major reasons of like why they are getting dropout in regarding menstruation?
I think the first thing is the lack of information, that menstruation is not a taboo, it is not a sickness, it is natural and it happens to every person. Secondly, the lack of facilities that are being provided, be it in the urban or the rural areas. Sometimes the hygiene facilities are not that good, even in schools and colleges. And this is something that the management of the organization or the institution should work towards. And it's not just about college, school, it's about every other institution where people work. So if you talk about an office, if the facilities are not proper, if the sanitation facilities are not proper, then it would be very difficult, to work while you're on your period or menstruating. So I think that it is very necessary to have proper sanitation facilities, proper toilet facilities, and then if we have sanitary dispenser, sanitary pad, proper machine, that would be like an added bonus. But initially, you need to start working on the sanitation facilities amongst your working environment or your educational institution. Apart from all of this, I feel that in the rural areas especially, girls do drop out because it they feel that this is not something that should happen, but it's natural. So proper information should be given, and proper usage of sanitary napkins should be given. So probably in urban areas it is the lack of the sanitation facilities, and in the rural area it is the lack of information, lack of availability of sanitary napkins, and the lack of, again, sanitation facilities. Like if we talk about, so you know that there are government um, centers, Jan Aushadhi centers, which provide basic medicinal facilities and also provide sanitary napkins, right? But there are only around 8,000 plus Jan Aushadhi centers all over India, covering urban and rural areas. So that is like a lot less than what is expected.
That it often happen that we during menstruation usually girls and women ignore their health and hygiene thing, They are mostly seen that it's okay, we will manage and whatever. So, according to you, what are the good diet and kind of hygiene should be practiced by each and every woman and girl during menstruation?
I think the most important thing is to keep yourself clean, irrespective of what your irrespective of the blood flow. You need to keep yourself clean, and you need to keep changing your sanitary napkin every 3 to 4 hours, because it's very important. And if like you keep it for more than 5 hours, you might get an infection in your um private parts. So it is very important to keep yourself clean and change your sanitary napkins regularly. Apart from that, it is, matlab, I personally do not um have much oily food when I'm menstruating. इतना नहीं खाती मैं, because it helps me with the so when I'm menstruating I have a bad stomach. So I try not to eat oily food. That just makes it worse. So yeah, I mean, it is up to them. It depends on person to person what they feel like eating and what they don't. So yeah, I think the most important thing is to keep yourself clean and um, keep changing your sanitary napkins regularly.
Like there is a need to make the whole environment menstruation friendly also. Like if we see in public places or public transport, whether it's railways, airports. So how we could or the government, whatever, could make the whole places environment friendly.
Could you come again with a question, please?
I was asking like how can we like place make places like railways, airports, bus stops more menstruation friendly.
Yeah, so like I said, I think the first thing is to provide proper toilet facilities, because I was recently traveling in a train, and my sister was menstruating, and she did not use the toilet once, not even once. Wherein when like our train journey was for around 5 hours, so because the toilets were very dirty. So I think that is like a top priority to ensure that the washrooms are clean and they are properly proper disposal systems for sanitary napkins. Because abhi what we will do is that in trains there is like, if there is an Indian toilet, they just drop the sanitary napkin and it just goes onto the railway tracks. So I think that is not healthy at all, even for the environment. So yeah, I think trains mein to we should ensure, the government should ensure, not even the government, I personally feel that it is very important for us as citizens to ensure that we use the toilets properly, because it is not always the government who ensures that it is clean. We should also ensure that we are using it properly. So if there is any you know if I'm using the washroom, I should ensure that the toilet has not been soiled, or um it has been dirtied by me after using it, so that the other person can use it without any apprehensions. So yeah, that is one of the things that we can work on as individuals, and the government can work on.
There are a lot of discussions around period leaves. So, what are your views on period leaves?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I feel like that should not stop us. Okay, so if you're menstruating, it should not stop us from doing our regular work, because end of the day it is natural. But if sometimes what happens is that people do face extreme level of pain in their abdomen, so I think the period leaves should be there, and it should be there to complement and support their health purposes. So I feel that it should exist in working institutions as well as for schools and colleges. But yeah, so it is a nice concept, just like maternal leave and all. So I think it should it should have a place in the working environment of the country.
Okay. As we know that many of the girls are miss their school due to periods. So my question is that have you ever missed your school due to periods? If yes, then what the particular discomfort that you had?
Kanchan, Kanchan, your voice is lagging. I will ask the question.
Okay. Right now I'm audible.
So, like, yeah, now you're audible.
Okay. So my question is that like we know that many of the girls are miss their school due to periods. So have you ever missed your school due to periods? If yes, then what the particular discomfort that made you to do that?
Yeah, so I did miss my period. Sorry, I did miss my classes once in school. That was because when I have my period, I have a bad stomach, so it is like I sort of get diarrhea. Okay, so it is very important for me to have a proper toilet facility. So yeah, initially when I got stuck with this this particular symptom, I it was difficult for me to deal with. So I did take leaves on my first or second day because it was really important for me to stay at home because I had a proper stomach ache, then I had a bad stomach. So it was like a mix of lot of things. But now I think I'm used to it, so I can handle it in my whenever I go out of my place. So yeah, initially it was weird, but then I just got the hang of it.
Like you said, that your parents' generation is very open about talking about menstruation, but still, that is a truth that there are a lot of stigma topics related to it. People don't talk about it. Even in schools, also, many schools will found that boys and girls are separated and then taught about this thing. So, how do you think that we could normalize conversation about menstruation?
I personally feel that a lot of educated audiences talking about menstruation in general, so that is like a really great step. Apart from that, the first step that the schools can take is not, teaching about menstruation separately. Like that's good that they're taking workshops about menstruation, especially for girls, but it is very important for the boys as well to know what menstruation is because this is not something that is a taboo. So it is important for the whole class or the whole set of people to know what menstruation is, whether it be it boys, girls, or anybody. So I personally feel that that is the first step. The second step could be not actually making a huge deal about it. So if you're not making a huge deal about it, it's something that is normal and it is natural. So not whispering about it or not dealing it on at an individual level. You can be open about it in the first place. So when you're open about it, they'll be able to help you out. So for example, I mean, it's a very small thing. When a girl gets irritated, the first thing that the boy asks is, "Are you PMSing?" I mean, a girl without having a period can also get irritated. So that is not some. This is not something that needs to be very much. कि अगर मैं mood swing हो रहा है तो PMS ही कर रही है. So that is not something that should take place. It should be normal. कि हाँ ठीक है कोई बात नहीं. So I think talking about it should be made more. We should be more open about it at an individual level. Schools में drives होती हैं बहुत सारी. Then yeah, I think जैसे हम लोग प्रोजेक्ट भी ना कर रही है कि डोनेट अ पैड ड्राइव, आई थिंक उससे भी काफ़ी अवेयरनेस फैलती है तो या
We have our last question with you. Like, Kanchan, go ahead.
Um, I'm saying that like we know that various girls, even girls, their friends, even they are not like feel comfortable to talk about their period. Some of them are hide that no, I'm not suffering from the period. What is this? I don't know. Even they knew that, but they treat like that. Ki they didn't know about this all. So the question is that even girls are not feeling comfortable in this also. So the how comfortable were you talk about having periods in front of boys in your school, and do you feel boys should be educated about menstruation too?
Yeah, so we had this friend circle in school wherein we had two boys with us, and whenever one of the girls, we were around five people, so we had three girls in our group. So what we used, three to four girls in our group. So what we used to do was whenever we had a period, we should be like, we kind of like if they like this was the PMSing question was asked by the boy from our group only to one of us, and we were like, "What is this nonsense? What are you talking about? It is not necessary for a girl just to PMS. If she's shouting at you, you might be at fault, you know." So I think after that we were very open about our period, and we ensured that we made the boys grow. We used to be like, "We are on a period. Do you have an issue?" So they used to be like, okay, fine, it's okay. Do you want something? So I think initially from 6 to 8, I personally feel that girls are not open even with their friends about menstruation and their periods in general. But once they start learning that it's a natural process, that it happens to every girl, and it's not something to hide about, they start getting open about it. They start learning more that it's not just it's something that can be talked about. So it's like a stage. So when you know about it, or when you understand more about it, you start getting an opinion, and you start forming an opinion which makes you and helps you be vocal about what you're feeling. So yeah, I personally feel that this particular topic should be vocal a, at a more younger age, like probably from 7, or when they first get their periods. They should know about that. It's not an issue, and it's natural, and you can freely talk about it. So like when I got to know about the period, like what exactly is menstruation, my mom told me about it. But a lot of mothers do not talk about menstruation because they themselves are not really open about what menstruation is. So a lot of it's not just mothers of girls, it should also be mothers of boys, because at the end of the day, we have menstruators in almost every household. So it is important for every household to know what menstruation is in the first place. So be it any household. So what happened was, we have around three menstruators in my place. So we I also have a younger brother. So the other day he went to the washroom and he's like, what is this? He took a sanitary napkin and he was like, what is this? So I was like, that's a sanitary napkin. So he's an eighth. So matlab, we had to tell him ki what it is. And then he was like, ये हमें भी होता है. I'm like, no, it's just it it does not happen to you. So he's like, अच्छा ठीक है. So then he was a bit curious about it. Then we told him what exactly it is, and then it went on. So I feel that it is not just girls, and mothers should also talk about this to their to the boys, because sometimes what happens is, when you're alone or you're at a place where you don't know a lot of people, you can actually help out if somebody is in need. So sometimes what happens is that in public places you get your beard out of the blue and you get a stain. So people start looking at you, people start judging you before telling you that you are down, you are your period, or your pant is dirty. They start judging you कि हो ये तो इसका तो pant गंदा हो गया and all that. So that is not how it should be looked at, because that person might be unaware, or that person might not feel that they got the period. They should get help instead of being judged. So it is okay, like if there might not be a girl who is helping, there should be at least a boy. Basically, we need to create more helping hands rather than more judging looks. So I think, I personally feel like that is how it should be in the society. And I mean, the first thing that I told my brother was ki, in case you see blood stain on the pants of any girl, you should just tell her that your pant is dirty, and if you need help, I'll help you out. In school or anywhere you feel like. So I think this is something that should be taught everywhere in the society. So yeah.
That is something which is I am learning from you, that how I will pass on to my brother, because my brother is also very small right now. So in
Yeah,
future, when I will
I
be
mean, it is very important for boys as well to know what menstruation is, because if end of the day, they might come out to help us. So I mean, I saw this documentary which was very nice. That there was this girl in the documentary was about that the girl was in the washroom and she was waiting for another girl to come to pass the washroom so that she could help out with the sanitary napkin. And the boy asked her ki, what the issue was, and the girl was like, "No, I'm looking for a girl." So that is not that is not how it should work. It should work like if the boy is asking, she should be like, "I need a sanitary napkin and it is an emergency," and the boy should just run and get a sanitary napkin out of nowhere. So yeah, I think that is how it should work. So
Yeah. So, with this, we come at our last
This
question.
is
Like,
a great thing I
what?
learned from you.
thank you, Kanchi.
Okay, so, what message would you like to give to the youth about it?
About menstruation.
Yeah, like how we could normalize and how we could be open and easy with it.
I think the only message that I would like to give is that it is normal and there is nothing to be shy about, and we are all menstruators, and this is something that is natural. So be proud of it, own it, because end of the day, just like I don't know if I mean this is something that is okay, and it should be talked about in general. So yeah. I think it's not just about menstruation. Like a lot of people do not just talk about the problems associated with menstruation, that is PCOD, PCOS, because a lot of people are not aware about it. So you should go to your doctors regularly to get a checkup, because if you're in your early stages of PCOD, PCOS, you can easily get cured and stuff. So it's very important to talk about all the problems associated in case in case girls are not menstruating. So yeah.
Okay, it was really very great session from you. So we are extremely honored to deliver the vote of thanks for this episode. It was lovely hearing from you and know about your opinions on the topic. And the last point, the mention you made, that was really very amazing. I liked it, that one where you taught about the boy. If any girls won't help, you should do it, and that was even I learned from this, and now I'm going to taught my brother because he's at ninth right now. So I think I also like understand that now it's a good time to share this all with them to like regarding the information of all regarding help about the girls, do not make joke, if needed then go and do help and all. So it was really very important points that you taught us. Thank you for that. And let's together continue to raise more awareness about this. And once again,
Definitely.
thank you so much, Abhiniti, for this beautiful session.
Thank you so much, guys. I really enjoyed sharing my opinion here.
It was really an enriching session, and it was so good to talk with you.
Even I learned a lot of things I learned from you. For that, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Really enjoyed
Thank you
the
for
session.
joining.
Okay, now you guys can leave this.
Thank you, guys.